Hi, Carol here. A warm welcome to my craft room. And here I'm showing you some paper I got out of a wedding box from our stationery store. It was a wedding collection that somebody didn't pick up. And when it doesn't get picked up and there's nothing done on it, they sell it for $5 for the entire case. So I bought this and I was reminded that the side piece there is beautiful embossed satin on it, like a satin finish. So I'm going to cut that out, the strips, and I'm going to use them on this album. And I'm also going to set aside the opposite side of the paper because it has this beautiful satin finish as well. So here I'm just sitting down thinking, okay, let's see. I'm on page 3. Yep, let's get going. Yeah. I got to pick up the pace, I know, but I had to collect things I'm going to use for this album. And one of the collections, which I really love, is bling. So I went into, yeah, you know that's going to happen, right? I went into some of my jewelry that I buy just for using on crafts and different things, you know. It's much, well, it's cheaper to do it this way than to buy it, let's say, at your big box stores, is to go into your thrift store and, you know, just buy what you can that's inexpensive. And that's what I do here. And if I find a bracelet and I want to use something on it, I'll just cut it off, throw away the guts, and move forward. So here I'm going to just show you quickly some of the dies that I used. I sat for an entire day and all I did was die cut from all the dies. That way I don't have to keep stopping. You know, if I look at a page and I say, okay, can I use this, that, or the other, I'm going to have a stash on top there that I can look through. I put it in a box and I will draw from that. This is little envelopes. I have an idea for that. And, you know, the difference between making a card and, or any other craft project, may I say, when you're making an album is it's a ton of decisions all at once. You not only have to decide what you're going to do for that particular page. This is an Anna Griffith die that I got from my friend, my Georgian friend. And hi Gail, thank you very much. I'm using this. It's beautiful. And it's nice and long and wide. I love this die. And even if you don't cut them out, if you don't cut out the dies you want to use, set them aside in a container so that you can draw from them later if you want to use them, you know. But I always say it's good to have some stuff already pre-cut in your stash and use it on any project. So that's what I did. But the difference I'm finding in making this album, it's my 3rd album. And the 2nd album that I made, oh my, it was about 4 years ago. And the process of making an album is different because I'm thinking of, you know, the one page, then I'm moving over to the opposite page and making sure that it matches the page to the right. And I'm going to do that 10 times. I hope I live long enough to get through this album, as a matter of fact. But I do have plans for each page now. I've taken the time aside to just die cut and get a plan. The idea when you do something like this, a huge job such as an album, for me anyway, you have to have a plan, just a slight plan that you can fall back on. So what you're probably thinking is, okay, Carol, do you have anything in this album? Yes, I do. I do. I have the 3rd page completed, but I got to tell you this, I'm not attaching any of my pages. I'm not moving along and saying, okay, this page is complete. Let me tell you this, I found this round circle cardboard in my stash, and I'm going to have a flip on one of these pages that is see-through acetate. I just cut this circle in half. This was in a paper collection, this round piece of cardboard, perfect circle. Sliced it in half, and then I'm going to put acetate on each side, and I'm going to use it as a flip. And I do have a plan for that as well. But there's all different you know, flips and flops and flaps and pullouts and things you have to think of when you're using your cardstock. And I did want to get rid of an older card series of paper that I had. So that's works out well for me because it has the pinks in it. Now, generally, if I was to do a wedding album, I would stay to the whites or the creams. But because I did the teapot and the teacup, which does have quite a bit of pinks, we're going to go with that. Pink, white, and whatever else I decide to add. You can never be sure, right? So here I'm grabbing some of my thick acetate. Oh, hello. Yes, a little birdie walking in. Oh, yeah, acetate. I love this stuff. So do I. I'm just cutting it out. I'm tracing it, cutting it out, and I am going to have something that flips up, flips down, and I'm going to get to use this round piece of cardboard. I'm becoming quite the stasher supply person where I want to add my supplies from my stash. Now, yes, I have gone out and bought a few things. That's true. And I want to make a public thank you to Debbie. She has a YouTube channel, which I left on my last tutorial. She made me the most beautiful pin with all these dangles on it. It's stunning. Absolutely stunning. I got it in the mail yesterday, and it's out of this world. I'm going to show it on my next tutorial. So thank you, Deb. You're a real gem, and I appreciate you very much, and your kindness to me. So that was wonderful to receive that. And you'll see it on the next tutorial. So here we go. I am just going to add the acetate to this, and then I'm going to trace out some pretty paper, of course gold, and put it on just the smiley face there on the front and back because it is going to flip. And then I will use this on a different page. I think it's page 5 I'm going to use this. But I'm only on page 3, so I needed to have something so you could see I just wasn't sitting there not designing for this album. I am working very hard. Yeah. I think the thing that's holding me back the most, my friends, is knowing all of the flips, you know, how to make the gussets start small and get bigger as you're flipping out your side panels and your back panels and your front panels. And yes, I'll tell you what, it is a very, let's say, challenging for me on this one. A challenging project, but it's good for me. I like to do things that I haven't done in a long time, and making an album like this is it's like making, you know, 10, 12 cards, because you're just decorating each page to the max, and then you're adding pages and you're adding tucks and all kinds of things. So bear with me, we will get this complete. I have to tell you, I am working on something in my mind. I haven't got it down to actual paper size. Here I'm cutting out let me see, 14 pages of black, and I'm using 65-pound paper, Recollection from Michaels. I'm cutting out 14 sheets, then I'll top that with the Dove paper I bought at Michaels last week. It's called Dove. It's not a shiny paper like I would have liked, you know, that kind of satiny, shiny, wedding type paper you think of. But it has this satin look to it, which is kind of like a tilt to the antique white and then to the white. I really love it. And it's from Michaels, and it's called Dove. 65 pounds. It was $6.99 or $5.99. Another thing I did, as you can see here, I took out everything that housed my punches. I have a punch unit, houses around 100 punches, goes along the one wall in my craft room. I took all of them out, dusted them, dusted each cubicle, and put them back in order. Yes, now I can see all my punches the way they should be. And I found some of these corner, well, I don't even think this is a corner one, but I really love it, for putting on your pages so that you can slide your pictures in it. Well, yeah, I just threw that in there for you, for your enjoyment. I had to tell somebody I organized my punch unit. So I just told you, yes. And I was having a little bit of difficulty with my Fiskars trimmer here. Kept popping out of the side, but I didn't have a new one to put in there, so I just went along with it, and I got all of the beautiful embossed satin strips ready to go on the pages. And then the funny thing is, can you imagine getting everything ready and then you don't even use the things you work days on to do? So here I'm counting it out, all my black 65-pound, and going to put white over top of it, and then I will put my pages, you know, from the beautiful wedding album or paper pack that I bought, and we'll go from there. So I'm just counting it out to make sure they're all there, and I'll count out all of the pages. Isn't it beautiful? I mean, you could use it just like that, couldn't you? It is really pretty. And now I'm going to try and see. It has this little lip on it, so it's very easy to cut with scissors. You do not need a trimmer. Look how pretty that is. And then just make sure you're hanging on to it in the spot you're cutting, and you're A-okay. Now we're going to move along to all of these wonderful Anna Griffith dies. And there's two different ways of doing these that I really like. And I'm going to share that with you because it can be used as a pocket by just cutting it in a different manner. And then it has the full, isn't that pretty? It has the full background ghost effect to it as well. So I just, like I said, took a day and cut out as many as I could. And then see right there, the one that has the whole cut on it. And you could do that in gold and then put your actual die cut strip on top of it. Oh yes, these are the little envelopes that I had. I'm trying to figure out, it's a Heartfelt creation die. I'll get it worked out. Yeah, I didn't want to use too much brain work that day. Any other day either. Yes, as little brain work as I can do. There's the paper pad, white satin, that I got at Michael's. And here, look at this. Can I ever stop just cutting? You don't want to do that. You just want to cut it and leave it. Otherwise, you start cutting one, you've got to cut them all. So now I'm making sure they're all trimmed out properly. Oh, let's cut another one, Carol. You know, why not? Let's make it so they're all uneven. Yeah, didn't matter on this anyway because I'm putting that satin strip on there. It's going to be like a belly band. That's my plan anyway. So let's just share how things are going with you. I'm still going to the heart specialist, and I had my CAT scan, and I haven't got any. Isn't that a beautiful cream color? Sorry, I'm jumping in there. I haven't got any results back from anything. I go back to the specialist on the heart specialist on Thursday, which would be a week today if I get this video up today for you. And that's as far as I am. I'm just guarding, taking my blood pressure twice a day, and making sure that the medication is doing its thing. And you know, the one thing I find, which is not really a good thing, is that I'm tired. You know, like before, it would be nothing to spend the whole day creating, like nothing, and then take another day to edit and voiceover. But now I just find myself having to rest. I don't know if it's the medicine. I don't know what is going on, but I don't like it. I really do like to spend, you know, once you get started on anything, whether it's creating, baking, whatever you're doing, you don't want to stop midstream. You like to just keep on going. And I find that I have been really resting more than I would like. But, you know, the body tells you when you have to do it. So, yeah. I'm hoping, yes, in 2019 to have this album up for you. So I'll have, that's exciting to know. It's been, what has it been, 2 weeks, and I'm on page 4 next. But I am going to work night and day to try to get more up for you. But I had a plan, and you know, if you have a plan, you have got to somehow stick to it. And I can't wait to share what I'm going to do with the backside, you know, the binding thing, the back of the album. Yeah, isn't that funny? here I go again. I've lost all sense of remembrance. I can't remember a thing. Yes, your spine. There you go. Eventually it comes back, and that's good. So here I'm just making sure I have enough of them. I don't want to put everything away and I'm not prepared. So I'll set that aside. Then I have to go and think about all the flips and flops, and that when I do that, I will give you measurements. Now, can you see this? I'm going into my dollar store where nothing's $1, where I got a lot of this trim actually. And yeah, right there. I was at the specialist, and right across the street, lo and behold, there's a Michael's. So I went in and, no, sorry, this isn't from Michael's. What's the matter with you, Carol? This was from the Big Dollar Tree. And their Big Dollar Tree, I couldn't find a thing for $1. I don't get it. Maybe it's just me. But these cost me, I think they were $2 a roll. But wowsville, there's a billion pearls, flat back pearls and flat back everything on those rolls. I can't even tell you. And then I went and got some, we call it Mac Tack. I don't know what you call it in the States or your country, but we call it Mac Tack, the stuff that goes in the drawer and then you peel off the back. And I got a lot of rolls from Michael's because it's the Cricut Cricut, I call it Mac Tack, but you peel the back off and it's vinyl. Let's just go with the vinyl roll. I wanted to have black and white. And then I went to that Dollar Tree and I found rolls of it for $1.25. But I'll tell you what, when you compare apples to oranges, obviously the Cricut vinyl is thicker and better to use. But I am going to use the dollar store Mac Tack for, if you don't have any, what is the name? I'm thinking, I'm working on, let's stop. I want to just tell you, I'm working on the Bellyband here, so I want to get going on this. So I'm slowing this down to share with you that the actual page of the Heartfelt Creation book, each page is 6 1/4 by 8 1/4. So you want to adjust your Bellyband to have the height when you go to score of whatever you're putting it over. Now I scored it at 3/8, but I needed way more than that because I was going to put it on the waterfall. But then I thought, you know what, I'm not going to add to this. I'm just going to put it on a different page and let it go. You know, I just want to warn you, you need to have the depth of your Bellyband to whatever object it's going to go over. And it was the waterfall, so that was quite thick. So I didn't cut it long enough, or excuse me, wide enough in the depth. So I scored it at 3/8 of an inch. It probably should have been 1/2 inch for what I had to cover. So I'm going to tell you that the top portion without the magnet that I cut off, I cut a piece that is 6 1/2. And then it is approximately, no, it's 2 inches wide. It's not approximately, it's 2 inches wide. Then I made the score marks at 3/8 of an inch apart, but I would have done it if I was covering the waterfall like I was going to. I just made this too thin. I would have made it probably 3/4 of an inch to cover that. So you just want to check whatever the Bellyband is going to cover and make the necessary adjustment to the height you're going to need, and then make your score marks. So the top 2-inch panel measures for this one is 6 1/2 inches. And then for the one that's going to flip up, I did it 6 1/4 inches long by 2 inches. As you can see there, scoring it at 3/8 of an inch. Putting double-sided tape on that section so that you have the 3/8. You can see that's going to flip over. Then we're going to put a magnet, and may I say this, I got such a deal at this place called Wish for magnets. It was crazy, crazy. It measures in millimeters, and I'll talk about that. I always bought from, what's the name of these magnets? I'll leave it in my description. And they weren't cheap. Here I'm running it through, excuse me, I wanted the end. Ooh, gives me some time. Oh yes, I'm loving it. I'm getting into this project now. I wanted to have a heart as the flap. When it comes up, I want it to have a heart on it because obviously it is a wedding card. But I needed to cover it again with the actual paper line. So I will do the exact same thing, but I'll trim it out after. So I'll just cut a strip 2 inches, I'll put it underneath the Martha Stewart heart punch and punch it out again, and then I'll make the necessary adjustments for it. I think that's what I did, or did I do it now? I don't know, but you know it has to be a little thinner because you want a little black edge on there. And there we go. And anyway, I went online and I got these magnets. I'm going to leave a link on my blog, I'm not going to forget. And for $50 US, I got a Visa gift card, and I think I got 400 magnets, all different sizes. Wonderful magnets. The N35, that's what you're looking for. But I'll leave the links if you're interested in magnets. And I'm talking from, let me get my millimeter while I'm doing this. You want to go from, let's get rid of that. So, 5 millimeters are good. I think that's what the magnets are that I always use. Let me just see here. No, they're 10 millimeters across, but you want 1 millimeter deep. You don't want them thick. You want them very fine, but you want to have that N35 thing happening so that they're super magnetized, and these were super magnetized. I ended up getting 100 of the 10 millimeters wide by 1 millimeter. Then I got 150 15 millimeter by 1 millimeter, and then I got 120 millimeter by 1 millimeter thick. So yes, for $50, I think 400 or 500 magnets, and they came in 2 weeks. Fantastic. I can't say enough about it. And now I've got so many magnets, I am supplied. So here we go. Yes, I ended up just shadowing it enough and taking off enough to have it look really cute when it closes. So we have to add the magnet on the bottom and to the other side, obviously. But look at this strand. I got this strand for like, I don't know, $2 or $1.50. Could have been $1.25. I can't even remember. And I can cut off. There's 10 or 15 strands in, vertically, and a billion feet of it on a roll. And I can cut out as many as I want. And they're flat back pearls. What a deal. Oh yes, I was at the right spot at the right time. Just got back from the specialist, and I was able to shop. I mean, that'll help your heart out, won't it? There it is. Could you see that in 63 1/1000th of a second? There we go. So I am going to put that on the sides, and we're going to finish up. And like I say, I'll leave the link to this place called Wish. Remember, I had those, I always have those dental picks that I always use to put my glue on with. You get 100 per pack. I got those off Wish for $1 for 100. And if I go to the store, they're $5 for 100. So I really saved on that. And that was a couple of years ago, and I forgot all about this site called Wish. Then I went on it for the magnets, and they are so crazy magnetized, you can't believe it. And you want to make sure that they're 1 millimeter thick. You want the thin ones. And yeah, so super excited to receive those this week. See that little magnet there? That's a 10 millimeter across, round, 10 millimeter. And here I go. I'm just putting it on the top. I apologize. I wish I had moved it up a little bit more. But you want to have, I'm going to turn this over and put, let's see what I do here. You want it to magnetize there. Maybe I put something over the magnet. Who knows? I can't even tell. I'm doing the edit. It's my own work, and I can't even see what I'm doing. There we go. And lift it up. Yes, I think I'm lifting the middle out. There we go. Maybe not. And you're going to put one on the other side. And yeah, just hold it there and then put your paper on it so that it's exactly where you want it. And when it dries, it'll be in the exact spot you need. It's fantabulous. I love it. Once you get creating, that's the fun part. I mean, I haven't even done any flips or flops and all that stuff, and I'm loving it. It's so relaxing. And, at times it is, you got to use those, the brain cells that I have in storage that I haven't used for a while, but I get it out and I use them and it works out perfectly. Yes. So, oh yes, and I put Scotch tape over it so it doesn't move, and then I'll cover it. But I like to hold it with the Scotch tape. I wouldn't want to take any chances of something happening with the old magnets. So that's what I did. And now I'm just oozing out some of the art glitter glue. Love that stuff. I'm so glad I went back to that. And now you have the mechanism. And here is some of the flat back pearls I got at the Dollar Tree. I think it's called the Dollar Tree. It's not in my town, so and then you want to take those little threads off, unless you like that, you know, vintagey look of having them hanging out, but I didn't. And look at that. I don't know. You've got 4 billion of them to work with, and they're flat back. And then if you put glossy accents over top to give them stability, you're going to have that real shiny look to them, and it's wonderful, wonderful. I love it. So here I am. This is, I guess, excuse me, this is what I'm covering the magnets up with, I think, or the line. Who knows, right? I'm covering something up. There we go. Yeah, I'm just covering the end up because it cut the paper too short. There's always a reason. There's always a mistake I'm covering. Yeah, and I didn't use the art glitter glue for these. I chose to use the hot glue. And yeah, the art glitter glue, it was sliding a bit, and I didn't have the time to wait. So I thought, yes, just get out your hot glue and go crazy. There you are. And isn't that pretty? Oh, I love doing the detail stuff. This little belly band is so nice. And then I'm thinking to myself, okay, I just took some tweezers to take the glue strands off. Yeah, little spider strands. And isn't that cute so far? Then I have to put the art glitter glue, which is perfect for these pearls, the strips of pearls. I'm telling you, there's like, I don't have it by me, but across, there's at least 15 going across to cut. And I end up using, you know, 3 at a time and 4 at a time, and the little teensy ones I'm working with there, the little minis. And let's see, as I'm admiring it there, I thought, oh, is that too big? That's what I'm thinking there. So then I went to my stash and I grabbed some diamond bling, and I thought, no, we need some diamonds. That's what's missing here on the other strand. Just a little wee strand of them. That's all. Yeah, and they come on 1 billion to a roll as well. Apologize for that. So that's nice. You know, bling covers a multitude, doesn't it? Just grab a bunch of bling and you're on your way to making something look beauteous. I just love it. Yes, that's what I'm using right there. Some more of my bling stash, and I can't tell you how exciting it is to shop in your stash, to actually realize that somewhere deep in the crevices of those spaces you have in your craft room, there's some pretty nice stuff that you can use. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know. We're not doing, you know, like I'm not sharing with you, okay, you need to buy this, 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 this. No, you need to just go in your stash and see what works for you. And I'm just giving you inspiration and ideas. But you know what? I have a few ideas for on the front cover I think you're going to love. And on the back spine, if I can pull it, you know, if I can do what my mind is telling me to do, I think you're going to be overwhelmed with what the spine's going to look like on this wedding book. Yes, I'm going to give it a try. I can't say that it's going to work, but I'm going to try. And I can't wait for that. And I'm getting all my flowers out and all the things I'm going to need. And it's these little items that I wanted to get done for you. And it's different. And this album's going to be different. I'm going to tell you that right now. And if you're interested in it, you can certainly give me an email. I'll leave that, my email address, and let me know when I'm finished it and you look at it. And, things like this, I just don't like to keep hanging around sometimes. And one of my friends suggested that, you know what if somebody was interested in it, Carol? Why don't you do that? Because, you know, a lot of work is going to go into this, and a lot of labor of love is going to go into this. And all my ideas, you know, that I have. and I'm hoping somebody will really like it as well. So enough of that. Enough of that. Let's move on. Oh yes, let's see where I am on here. Okay. I don't want to bore you, but what I did is I got out my teeny weeny pearls, you know, the separate ones, and I am going to put them all on these holes. And I really do. And you know, on that strand where you cut it with the mini pearls there, I do like that. You can cut all those little strands off. It doesn't have to look. You can see the one on the upper portion to the top. It has no little strands. But on the bottom, I left the strands in there. And I like it. I really do. I don't mind it at all. I'm hoping somebody, if they're interested in this book, likes it too. But I think it's really nice. So here we go. We're just going to snip off some of this flat back pearl, put it on there with the art glitter glue, cut it off, and then on the front and the back it's going to be identical as far as putting all the pearls in. And I think it looks pretty sweet. I like the diamonds coming down like that. You get those at Michael's. I think it's in the packages anyway. I think they're like $10 Canadian, but you know, use your coupon and that's good. Now these diamond and pearl things, I wanted to show you my island. Once again, I worked myself into an area of about 6 inches by 6 inches. I have an entire island and I can't even, you know, I have to stop and get control of myself and move everything out of the way so I can work. I don't understand it, you know. But here we go. That's from Michael's too, that box of pearls. You get all different kinds of sizes, and right down to the mini flat back pearls. So I really like that. So you have to remember that you're going to flip your belly band up. So you want to decorate the front like the back. And see how I'm just cutting that off like this with the scissors? It's wonderful. And then I think I do the back. I end up liking it 2 or 3 strands thick. That's what I'm doing there. I'm actually going to measure so I don't waste any, even though there's 5 trillion of them on a roll. But I'm just taking the little knobbies off the side. I'm going to do 2. Oh yeah, I can see that. 2 thick. By the time I get doing my edit, it's like a new experience for me of what I did. So here we go. We're just going to do the same thing. I'm not going to bore you with it. I'm hopefully not going to bore you with it. And then I'll show you what I decided to do after this. As you know, I have about 1 trillion billion items to do jewelry. And my friend Debbie sent me boxes and boxes of jewelry. We were doing jewelry together. And I thought, oh, look at that. Look at that. The cameo. You could do one of those seated right in that heart. But then I would lose that kind of trellis look in the back. And I wanted to keep that. So I went to my stash, of course. And I found a big gargantuous cameo. But it was too gargantuous. And then I have like about 30 of these necklaces in all colors. All colors. But that was too big as well. You don't want to go that big. You don't want to go bigger than the heart. You know, I didn't think anyway. So I decided to grab an empty locket and then put my little heart in it, but not gold because we're going with diamonds here. So I had to go, oh, look at that. That's a double one. I had to go into my stash and find silver. And of course I have silver. I'm just trying to find out what kind of shape I like, you know. So I will grab another one and find the silver outline because, oh, and I loved this piece too. You know, that you pull your ribbon through. I really like that. So I took that out. I'll use that eventually. And whatever I see when I'm walking around, oh, here's some more cameos. Look at that. So I grabbed the silver and it was just perfect. I love it. Isn't that pretty with the chocolate brown? I just had to look at it because cameos, I love cameos. I have a thing for anything cameo. And so here we go. I grabbed the silver and it allows you to put whatever color cameo you want on the inside. I took some beautiful ribbon and I can't even think of what that ribbon's called, you know, the see-through light as a feather one. And I'm going to tie a bow in that. What do you call that ribbon? Oh, right at the end of my tongue as well. Yeah, it's not going to help me just to sit here and try to think of it, so I'll move on, and all of a sudden it'll jump right out of my brain cell. So here we go, hot glue gun that down with a beautiful bow, and this lightweight, I don't know what it is, ribbon is so pretty on the top, and it just added the weight. I love the weight of it all, and of helping the magnet to magnetize, or to lay flat, excuse me, with some weight. I thought that was nice. And this is going to be our belly band once the cameo jumps in the hole there, and we can move forward on making a bridal pillow for the rings. Now, the bridal pillow is going to go obviously in another spot, but I don't know, I felt like making one, and I was going through my stash to find something. And I found this tiny little pillow that I had, and it was brown. It wasn't the color I wanted, but I tell you what, you won't know that once you cover it all up. A few years back, I did do a few beautiful albums, like I'm really proud of them. And I did them with satin and bridal gowns, and I bought up quite a few bridal gowns, and I put them in zipped up bags. You know, the kind when you buy here I'm just clipping off the organza. See, I told you it would come back, my organza ribbon. Anyway, I would fold them up and put them in these comforter bags that I have gotten over the years, and that way I can see clear through them and know what I want to retrieve off of all of these bridal gowns for things just like this. And bridal albums, if you do it in material, instead of the way I'm doing it, half material, half paper. So I just went to my stash and unzipped one of the bridal gowns and got out some beautiful satin off of a veil that I had. I think it was off of a veil, had a little piece, just enough that what I needed, and I ended up having to have a button, a satin button, and I got it out of there as well. So they do come in handy, and I'm really blessed to have them now that, you know, I don't buy any more. I just got 4 or 5 of them that I liked, maybe a few more. And I stored them away and cut off all the stuff that I had, put them in the bag as well, off of the gowns. When I have time, I just cut things off so they're ready to go. And yeah, so that's going to come in handy for this. Oh, I found this little diamond square, but that's too much. I don't want anything on the back. On the back, I don't want anything hitting what it's up against. So there you have it. There's the clippy thing, and isn't that gorgeous? I just love the way it's going to match. The only problem is I didn't make the actual area that I scored large enough, you know. But that's okay, 3/8 of an inch. I will use it on a different page. I'm really pleased with it, and it will match. It's not going to go to waste, so that's nice. So now I'm going to show you what I mean about the depth. See how 3/8 of an inch isn't enough deep for the actual album to go over this. Obviously, look at that. It's so bulky, the waterfall, that it just unsnaps the actual magnet. So I have to use it, or else you could put an extender on it, like extend it another 1/2 inch. But you know what? I just thought I'm not going to play around with that. I'm going to leave it for another page, and I'm excited that it's done. And I'm sure another page will really appreciate. Oh, excuse me, you're on my book. Oh, I tell you what, I just love that guy. And now we're going to, I'm going to leave it plain like that beside there. I'm not, like I said, nothing is going to get fastened until the end. Then when I have each page completed, I will fasten it all together, and then I will worry about the snap or the clip that I'm going to use. I think you're really going to like the fastener. Snap, clip, fastener, whatever it is, I'm going to shut this album with. But I don't know how deep, how how actually deep this is going to be. So I'll hang on. I'm going to clean off my area and I'm going to move to my next project, which is the gorgeous little ring pillow. You have to have a ring pillow, I think, in a wedding album. So I set out to make one. So I went to my stash again, and for the longest time I collect anything satin and lacy and ribbony, and look at that one. Oh yeah. I could have cut it off of that one, and I like the pink and black of this dress. I thought of using the crinoline underneath, but I thought, no, I need this. So, you know, the, what do they call that ribbon? That, it's not tulle, that, anyway, that pink strand there. I wanted to use it. So I put these back in my stash, and I'm going to take a piece of cotton out of my stash, double it up so you can't see. See how cute that little pillow is? It was perfect. I love it, and I get to use my nice scissors. I've been saving for my material. Yes, my Ginger scissors. It's just for material. I'm trying my best anyway. So I took the button off the front of this because see it? Yes, that was at a thrift store. And I thought, oh, I'll be able to make something out of that one day. And sure enough, ripped that all off. It wasn't sewn on, it was glued on. And now I want to actually cover the pillow so you can't see through it when I put the satin on. So this is all I'm doing. I'm just putting a doubling it up. I'm going to use the glue gun, and I'm going to secure it on there, and you won't believe how nice it turns out at the end. And yeah, this was fun, you know, and it doesn't really matter how much you put on there, because you're going to, I'm just measuring it to see where the button was, you know, for later on. Yeah, and that's all I did. And then I just folded that over, and yeah, it was so much fun. I'm telling you, I really enjoyed this part. And just finding the stuff out of your stash and yada yada. Then I'm going to move on to the satin. And you know, when you do this, you don't have to worry if it's going to be stuck down on the back. And that's what this is going to be. You're not going to be able to take this out of a pocket or anything. I knew the back, you're not going to see it. It is going to be secured to the front page. But you know me, I do like it to look good, because, you know, if anything ever happened where it came off, I would like it to look nice on the back as well. It just makes me feel good. I don't like a project left undone. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm using my little spatula I got at the dollar store when nothing's $1. And you get 3 of these spatulas. Yes, so that was nice. And here I'm just thinking to myself, Carol, you're not going to see the back, so don't really go crazy on that. You want to go crazy making sure the front is really nice. And that spatula really did, as I'm looking up there, I'm jumping out of the sentence I'm saying there, but as I'm looking up, I'm looking at that pink rope thing, trying to think what they call that. There is a name for it. It's satin. It's pink satin, so that's nice. It matches the satin material I'm using here. And yeah, so here's the start of the pillow. It wasn't even. As you can see, it's going up on the left. Oh yeah, but it doesn't matter. I will make it look even. So I took out some cotton lace, and I'm going to secure that, and this is where I'm going to start to make it look even. You know, this is what we call designing. You're not going to see what's underneath, and I'm just going to turn the corner, and you can see, yeah, you can see how I went down slope so that the pillow will eventually look like it was made to be perfect, you know. The measurements were made to be this ring pillow. I used real rings. I took apart a ring that I had. It had about, I don't know, 10 little tiny rings that formed a big ring, you know, round rings, 10 of them. Took it apart, and I'll use it for, I put flat back diamonds on it to look like a diamond, and a wedding band on it. So that was fun to go on my stash and find that. And I'm going to make this 2, you know, 2 layers. That way on the side it looks really nice. I just heard a noise. Sorry, I paused there. And I know I'm in the house by myself, so any noise, I'm going, wonder who that is or what that is. But there we go. And I'm going to go around the corners. I'm not going to cut it off. I'm going to make it just go all the way around. And even though I sped this up, really, this was so relaxing for me. Now, once I get the 2 layers of the lace on, I'm going to take my art glitter glue, which is fantastic for putting this on. But I think what I do is I don't know if I switch to my hot glue or not. I can't remember. I don't think so. I think this, yeah, I do. I'm thinking I didn't want to wait for it to dry, but I'm pretty sure it would have been secure with the art glitter glue. I just wanted to make sure, yeah, see, I'm just making sure that it will stay with the hot glue. And it does. Isn't that pretty? And then I'll take it and I'm going to cut it off and tie a knot in it like the previous, like the end of the beginning portion of it. And as I'm looking at it, you know, I'm trying to think of what they call this, trim. I can't think of what they call it. But anyway, tied it in a knot. And then I went in my stash and I have so much of this beading on a beautiful veil. This veil went for miles behind the actual bridal gown, and I cut it down, you know, not all of it. I just cut a portion of it, probably 5 feet of it. And yeah, so you can see the beautiful pearls just alongside, and it was only the outer layer. This gown had so many layers of pearls. It was crazy, all of the trim. It filled a bag for sure. And I'm so blessed to have it because it's going to come in handy for any other projects I'm going to use in the future. And so I covered that corner, and then I thought to myself, you know, I need to get a button. So I went to my button stash. This is my white, and I think I threw some gold in there, of course. And I picked out this one, but you know what? It doesn't go. It's just it's a flat, it's a nice button, don't get me wrong. It wasn't the place for it. I had to get a satin one, and I don't know what I was thinking here as I took all these out. I need to go just into the same gown that I have in the bag, and many of them had the beautiful buttons going down the back. And that's what I did. I cut off a bunch of buttons, and this is my leftover stash. I put them in the freezer Ziploc bags, and this here was a head veil from a 1940s gown I have. 30 or 40s gown. Is so pretty. But I just stuck my hand down there and I found a beautiful satin button. And I used it. Yes. What would we do without our stash? I'm telling you. That's why I don't shop thrift store anymore. I've told you this. I don't go. I mean, you'll always find something if you go into thrift stores. I mean, you will. There's always something you think you need, but you know what? There's only so much space to put it in. Yeah, now I'm going to put this leftover, whatever it is. I'll put that back in the bag with the wedding gown. And yeah, it's nice to see through things and just say, yeah, that went in the garbage. Then I'm going to take a needle and thread and sew up the button so that I can pull down on it and make some nice, yeah, this was in my stash too. Got it at the dollar store for $1.50 for these. It came with a little bag full of sewing supplies, you know, a little zipped up, looks like a little purse, and that for $1.50. So I bought a bunch of them up to put on albums for the little bag. I wanted the little bag. I did a sewing album. I'll leave the link. I think you'll really enjoy it. When I made those albums, I didn't know how to edit properly. I didn't know how to put future videos that you did at the end of your tutorials. I left all that stuff blank. That's probably why when you go to my videos, you don't see those because I didn't fill them in. I need to go back and fill in the description and fill in all that stuff. Yeah, it just seems like so much work to me, you know. So here I am. I know. I'm making sure that it's in the middle, that our, but then I moved it a tad, and I'm going to tell you why. Because the rings are going on there. And if it was even, the left side would look bigger than the right because I'm putting the rings there. So I did move it over a bit to the left. So, yeah. And this is what's really funny. This sewing needle from the dollar store, obviously, you know, where nothing's $1, I have hot glue on this, and I was bending that needle. I could actually bend it with my fingers, you know, but I wouldn't throw it away. No, no, no. I just made it straight, and as straight as I could, and kept sewing. This is so foreign to me, sewing. But you have to do it sometimes, you know. So that's what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm hobbling on one foot to another foot. I'm standing up, probably because of my sore left foot. I'm going to the right, and then you'll see me go to the left. Oh, it drives me crazy just watching it. I apologize. And I should have moved myself in there on my chair, but sometimes I like to torture myself and stand on my sore foot, you know, so I have something to complain about. That's always good. So now I'm back to these pearls. These pearls I did not get at the dollar store. This was at a thrift store and on a roll. I used to love to get any type of bling on a roll at my thrift store because I have a really good thrift store. And like I said when I was yakking before, that I have tried to stay away from consignment, thrift stores, Value Village, all those places because I have enough. You know, there's a time where you have to just say I have enough. I don't want any more things stored in a closet or put away. If I ever need anything, I'll just go out looking for it at the time. But now it's time, after, you know, years of stash shopping, to sit back and use what I have. I think that's good stewardship, and it's what I'm enjoying to do now. I just, you know, yeah. And so here, I don't think it's 100% like even all the way around. I can see it's a little bit on a slant, but you know, once I get the rings on there, this is just another thing to straighten it out that I'm putting the pearls on. And I'm really, really happy with this little pillow. I think it's adorable. I let the pearls go out the side with the satin. I know that name's going to come to me. And I am just taking off the corners. Now, what you have here, it's all different bling. That looks like a horseshoe to me. So I let it go down the side because that'll cover the way that I came around the bend on that. And then I'll add, there's another smaller round circle of pearls on here. That's a little flower. I really like it. And I'll put it on top of that. Either or. If I just left it like that, it would be pretty. See how it has that? And I'm telling you, this was around a bridal train. And the reason why, when I used to go looking for these at the secondhand stores, you know, the wedding gowns and the veils and the headpieces and things, I didn't mind buying them up because I am making things out of them. If they stay at our thrift store, they end up getting dusty and all worn around the floor, and you know, I just can't see things like that. I think it's wonderful to get it and refurbish it and take it apart and make beautiful things out of it. You know, beautiful projects for somebody else instead of sitting in a thrift store collecting dust. And yeah, so I would wait till the prices went down to rock bottom. Sometimes if I saw 2 or 3 gowns, I would just offer them so much, you know, okay, you want 50 for one, how about I give you 75 and I take 3 of them? And they generally did that because they didn't want it dragging on the floor and collecting dust either. So that's just a little tidbit there I'm throwing in. And some of you can see some of the little beads are falling off because I had to cut the thread when I took it off of the actual trim that I cut off the veil. And yeah. And then to secure them even more, you can take glossy accents. I took that crystal lacquer that I got at Heartfelt Creations. It's just like glossy accents. I put them over all the pearls because it drips down and it secures it to the actual thread underneath so that they are not going to fall off. That would be disastrous. I don't trust glue. I don't trust hot glue when you're coming to beadwork. You know, when you're doing beadwork, I think that glossy accents or your Arlene's glue that's clear, that's just like glossy accents. And I use that and let it drip down and dry. And then you've got that nice shine to it. It's beauteous. Now the back. I found this stretchy lace I had. It's really stretchy. I love it. That's why it's nice to go in your stash. When you spend a few years of just shopping for stuff you think you're going to use and you don't pay much for it, and you put it aside, you organize it in little, however you like to organize. I like to see my stuff, so especially if it's lace, you know, I like to put it in clear zipped up bags. And yeah, that's why I found this, and it's stretchy, it stretches over, it covers that mess that I made on the back of it, and even though I am going to glue it down, it just made me feel good. Sometimes you have to use stuff that just makes you feel good. The project looks complete to me, and that's very important. And I'm you know, somebody may purchase it, I don't know. But if they don't, it'll be a nice gift for me to give away, or one of my family members to give away, or somebody, if they're interested in it, can just email me. Have I said that enough? I only need to say it once. I apologize. But, you know, sometimes I don't realize what I say, and I say it again and again and again. Ask my husband. Yeah. See to the right how it looks a little bit up a bit? But that doesn't bother me. Well, it must have bothered me a bit. I mentioned it. But here we go. Here's the crystal lacquer. This is from Heartfelt. It's another glue, just like Glossy Accents, but it's thinner. This is like the Nouveau. What's the Nouveau called? Crystal Glaze. Yes, it's right behind me there. So, you know, it's wonderful, and it's thin. That's what I like about it. It's thin, because it'll drip and seep down into there, into the beautiful beads, and keep them secure and bring the shine back. You know, it's so pretty. And it grabs hold of the threads. Now, isn't that pretty? Then we're going to move on to the rings. I didn't want to put an inexpensive ring that you get at Michael's. You know, they get like 10 of them in a pack, and they're made of paper, and then they have the flat back diamond on it. So what I did is I went to my diamond bling, my good diamond bling that's on in a package, you know, and I took them off and made my engagement ring and then the band. And I'll show you how. This is the package I'm talking about, and this is the ring I had in my stash. I've worn it here and there, so it's had its use. So I took the back off that was holding all of these strands of circles together, and it's silver, so that's nice. And I took them apart, grabbed 2 of them. I'm going to glue them together as a set, like one there. Isn't that just perfect? I mean, it's just perfect. And I'm using it on the right to use up that space that's just a little heftier than the left side. It's just a little fatter, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, there we go. So you can see it on my left hand. I put the rest of them on my hand, on my finger. I didn't put it on my hand, I put it on my finger. And just to hold it there, because I didn't want it falling all over the floor, and I had to go pick them up. So now I'm going to put that, I put a little bit of hot glue. Then I cut the hot glue because I didn't like it. And then I took, what worked well for me is the art glitter glue. It held it down, but you have to wait for this to dry. It does dry clear, but you can't be impatient. I was impatient about 6 times. And then I had to go back and glue it because, yes, sometimes I have patience and sometimes I don't. And there you have it. I put it on here, and I snuck a little bit of hot glue up in there underneath to hold it. Oh, walks right on it. I knew that he was going to pay us a visit. I just knew it. Howdy doodle. That was nice, yeah. And look at that. That art glitter glue sure did hold, because he stepped right on it. And it stayed there. So there you go. Now I'm going to take my diamond bling. I'm going to make one in the center, one a teensy weensy diamond on each side of the ring, on the big diamond. See, I'm zoning in. And I think I put, oh, I don't know, maybe 2 tiny ones on each side, if I remember right. Because I had been doing this when I was feeling well. I would just come in the craft room and I would create until I couldn't create anymore. And yeah, that's my hot glue. I'm trying to put it on my pokey tool and put it underneath, right like that. There you go. I left that there. That worked. That worked. And yeah, and then I'm looking at it and going, we need to add another diamond on each side of there, I think. No, not the big. I don't think I did the big one, did I? Let me just see. I must have. I did. I put a big, a teensy, and a big, and a teensy. No, a big, a teensy, big. Big, a teensy, big on the other side. There you go. Yeah, that's Carol verbiage. No one will ever figure it out. There we are. Ooh, didn't that sparkle when the light got on it? So pretty. I'm really happy with this. And I'm really happy that you joined me. I'm going to leave some pictures for you. I took some pictures and we are going to page 4 next. And I'm going to try to do page 4, as many pages as I can next, if it's not as big a project, you know. This was, you know, I had to create some extra things and I die cut things and we just yacked like I usually do, a good hour's worth. And I want to encourage you because, oh, here, I'm putting it on the 2 tiny glossy accents. Take your pokey tool, but put it on the 2 diamonds. If you're going to do the same as this, that way it'll adhere to the bigger diamonds and won't fall off. So another little bit underneath there because I know I'm finished and I will be able to set it overnight and it'll work well. Take the pokey tool. This is the fun stuff, you know, all the little detail stuff that you're really pleased with. So this is, let me see if there's anything else. I am going to do all of the flips and flops and I'll show you that because it's going to be out of the paper. Then I'm going to do fabric for the cover. And I think you're really going to like it. And I'm really hopeful that my spine idea will pull through for me. And I'll be able to, you know, do what I have planned. It just came to my mind and I thought, wow, I've never seen anybody do that before. Maybe I'll try it and see if I can get it to work. So we shall see. And like I said, this is relaxation. You don't want to do anything that's too much tension on making things. This is wonderful. So everybody, just take care. Whoa, yes. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your subscribing to my channel and I appreciate your comments more than you'll know because I get to know who you are if you subscribed. And I hope I have answered all my comments. I try to answer all my comments. I think that's important. To let you know that I do appreciate your thoughts and what you think about my project. And if you have anything that you think would add to my project, please let me know. I don't mind that at all. And we are going to proceed. I am going to work at the rest of the afternoon on page 4 and 5. I'm going to try to get 2 of them done and get that video up for you. And we're having a major storm today, like a major storm, high winds and a major rainstorm. So, you know, I like to work in rainstorms. So, yes, I'll get moving. There it is. So, anywho, thank you very much for always viewing my tutorials. I know they're not cards, but you're going to be surprised. I'm going to put some cards inside some of the flaps. I am going to make some cards. So you will get, you know, an added card to few cards in tutorials in there. So take care, everybody. I will see you on the next page. Bye now.